right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening to this truth with heart sincerity. I already made a blessed election be upon your houses. All right, the title and the topic of this lesson is pretty much going to be on the Motb. All right, the Mark of the Beast. And I have two clips here I want to play. All right, this one right here is from about 3 years ago, and then the next one to play is about a month ago. All right, just going to show you just the time difference and the relevance, still, and the what's going on when it comes down to the Motb technology. All right, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect of Israel.
Listen to this. Instead of carrying your wallet in your back pocket or your purse, a tech company wants you to keep it under your skin.
All right, so let's explain here. Walletmore is selling microchips implanted in your hand as an alternate payment. Could this be the future? Maybe. Once you set up your card info in the company's app, look at this. It says payments could be as easy as swiping your hand over a card reader. Right now, chips are not sold in the U.S. Crazy.
Listen to this. Instead of
All right. As you've seen, right, they were talking about that Motb, right? Talking about how they could use it for payments and so forth, right? And I got this clip right here. This is a more recent one, right? And in the title of this one, it says, "You'll be shocked, over 50 people have received the Motb." All right, and let's play it.
Is it finally happening, or has it already started? Look at this headline closely. Should states ban mandatory human microchip implants? A new report examines the rise of preemptive bans on mandated human microchip implants, noting that 13 states have recently enacted such a ban, despite no companies currently requiring the technology. The Carnegie Council for Ethics in International Affairs has released a report entitled "The Rise of Preemptive Bans on Human Microchip Implants," looking primarily at how some states are preparing for an increased prevalence of this technology. Let's stop there for a second. Pay attention to these words. Looking primarily at how some states are preparing for an increased prevalence of this technology. Microchip technology is no longer a theory or some form of breakthrough tech. It's an expected reality. Some states in America are already planning ahead in terms of how to deal with this technology, which is soon to come.
Right, and I want to pause it here real quick, right? Because mind you, that first clip I played was from about 3 years ago. This one's from a month ago. And in the first clip, you've seen how they talked about it as if it was like a sci-fi type of thing, as if it's so, far-fetched, it's crazy. But now, a couple of years went past. Right now, you're seeing they're talking about it as if, like they said, as they said in this clip, they said it's a certain reality, right? And mind you, the apostles and elders on down have been already prophesying of the microchip, of the RFID, of the Motb, for years, man. Lord, when this video gets strike down, because whenever you speak on this, they like to try to strike your videos down. But nevertheless, we've been, prophesying these things, telling people what the Motb is, right? And you have people in other groups, other camps saying there is no potato chip gonna get put into you. All these other religious groups saying the Motb is not physical, it's spiritual, and all these other bugged out things, man. And we're gonna get into it a little later on in this lesson, going into the scriptures. But nevertheless, let me just continue on letting this play just a little bit more.
Notably, more states are enacting preemptive bans to prevent employers from requiring that their workers be microchipped. U.S. states are increasingly enacting legislation to preemptively ban employers from forcing workers to be microchipped, which entails having a subdermal chip surgically inserted between one's thumb and index finger, wrote the authors of the report. Internationally, More than 50,000 people have elected to receive microchip implants to serve as their swipe keys, credit cards, and means to instantaneously share social media information. This technology is especially popular in Sweden.
Right? And real quick, back again to that first clip, it said at the end, it said they're not for sale, right, at the moment. But now, 3 years later, here it is. You have it says over 50 people, right, 50,000 people have it. There's probably way more than that already have it, predominantly in Sweden, right, where they're already using it for their day to day lives, right. I'm going to show you the times that we are in. We are really inching closer to, when these devils get ready to really force push it out, man.
Where chip implants are more widely accepted to use for gym access, e-tickets on transit systems, and to store emergency contact information. End quote. Now, why are these microchip implants particularly interesting to keep an eye on? And
Right, and that's the clip right there. They was about to go down a a rabbit hole in this, but going to show you, right, the MOTB technology is already here, man. All right, and some people already got it. All right, these are the times that we are in right now. Okay, and let me grab this real quick because this is a very popular thing, right now, which is the Neuralink. Right, this is Elon Musk's Neuralink, and for those that aren't too familiar with it, here's a little bit inside of it. It says Neuralink is a neurotechnology company developing implantable brain-computer interfaces. Its primary goal is to create a fully implantable, cosmetical, invisible device that allows for communication between the human brain and external devices. The company is working towards restoring autonomy to those who unmet medical needs and unlocked human potential. Right, so that Elon Musk Neuralink is basically doing them brain chips, right? And another thing too, if I could search it up, there's a show, right? It's called Severance. It's on the Apple TV. Right, a show called Severance, right? And basically, they got the MOTP in there, man. There's a lot of shows and movies that basically show you, the MOTB, man. Right? It's predictive programming, right? Where they show you something before they do it, right? There's a show called Paradise on Hulu, right? They wear these wristbands where they use to do everything, tracks their heart rate. They have to use it to buy everything to get in certain places. And in the show Severance, same thing. They have a brain implant in order to work on a floor called the severed floor, right? And the only people that have this implant can do that, right? Basically, showing you see if I get images. Basically showing you how they getting ready to push out that MOTB, right? And pretty much you see it right here, right? It's pretty much how it looks, right? They sit down in this chair, and then that procedure goes in. They show the needle going in, and they put that potato chip in their head. All right, and this is going to show you, man, the time for the MOTB to get really pushed out is here, man. Right? We are in the final days, man. It's inevitable. It's undeniable, and if you can't see it, hey, I don't know what to tell you, man, because it's plain as day. All right. This is a little article right here. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but just a little bit. It's from The Hill, and this dates back, I believe, a few years back, right? 2 years back, 2023, right? And it reads, right, the novelty of replacing one's home key with a microchip implant is gaining worldwide interest. But there's another more compelling story under the surface. Why is this technology an integrated circuit the size of a grain of rice, reviled by some and celebrated by self-proclaimed human cyborgs, right? And this is the thing, right? They're trying to advertise the MOTB as a form of convenience, as a form of making things easier, right? And so forth, man. right? The same way how they were, advertising the jump shot, right? That potion, that concoction that they made, right? The same way that they were having all these church leaders, these celebrities, these influencers promoted and so forth. It's gonna be the same way they do when they get to really pushing out this MOTB out here, man. All right, let me scroll down a little bit, right? Because it even goes into that second clip we saw a little bit. It reads, arguably, William Shakespeare Hamlet offers the most elegant explanation. Nothing is neither gold nor good nor bad, but things makes it so. However, it would be prudent to tell Prince Hamlet that not all microchip implants are designed alike, and understand that technology design enables one to better evaluate the competing viewpoints. Today, more than 50,000 people have elected to have a subdermal chip surgically inserted between the thumb and index finger serve as their new swipe key or credit card in Germany. For example, more than 2,000 Germans have opted to receive these implants. One man used it to store a link to his last will and statement. The chip storage capacity increases. Perhaps users could even link to the complete works of Shakespeare, right? So, going to show you, right? It says 50,000 people elected to it, right? We already know 50,000 people in Sweden, 2,000 people in German, right? In Germany, right? People using it to basically buy, sell, store things, all these different things, man. Right? Going to show you the technology for the MOTB is here. Some people already got it. All right, you know. But yet you'll have some people that say that's not the MOTB. This isn't the MOTB. But let's go into it, man. Right? Let's read in the scriptures. Let's go into it. Right? I'm gonna go. Let me start with. Let's start Revelation 13. Right? This is Revelation the 13th chapter, straight to the point. Verse 16 it reads, and he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right? And let's go into, when you go into the blue letter, right? Go into the words, right? In the interlinear, let's go into the word for that word mark. 1 second. Right here. Right here's the Strongs. Right.
Strong's G 5480. Charagba. Charagba.
Right. So Strong's G 5480. Right. The Greek word is charagma. Right. And when you go into that, right, let's read. It says a stamp, an imprint of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist, the mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, right? And let me go down a little bit more. Oh, right here. It says also for, a scratch or etching, a stamp as a badge of servitude, or sculptured figure, statue, graven mark, right? So when we go into the word mark for Revelation, in Revelation, the 13th chapter, right, we see that it's talking about a physical mark, right, actual imprint, a stamp, right, that actual physical incision, right. And even when you go into, let's go back here to let me go into like the Neuralink, and let's find it here. I believe it's this one. It was one of them I seen. Let me give me one sec. Right. Yep, it's here, right? It says an implantable device. The implant is designed to be fully integrated, right? So, it's that physical stamp, right? It's getting, inserted into you, right? And also, even when you also go into the word karama, also goes into that word, also goes into getting an incision, all right? But let me get this too in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. Let me open it back, all right? Because, mind you, there's different marks, throughout the scriptures, right? And I'm going to get this right here because in Ezekiel 9 and 4, it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? And this is another mark right here, right? Because you have the mark that you're going to get in, let me just go back here, right? In Revelation 13 and 16, right? Right here, where you have that mark that you'll get for, the Motb, right? And then you have the mark here, right? The mark that, the that's set upon you, the mark set upon you from the Lord, right? And let's go into that word from Mark and here in the Strongs, right? And it's Strong's H8420, right? In the Hebrew,
Strong's H8420. Tav.
right? And that would, right? And the Hebrew word for that would be tawa, right? And when we go into that, right, it says a desire, a mark, and it says mark as a sign of exemption, right? So that mark in Ezekiel the 9th chapter is a mark of exemption, right? A sign of exemption, right? So those show you the two differences, right, in the words for mark. That's why it's important to go into the Hebrew, and get the proper breakdowns and the proper understanding of what the words mean, right? Because you have the mark of exemption, which is tawa. You have, mark in the strong in Revelation 13, which is karama, which goes into an actual, imprint, a stamp, an incision, actual physical mark that's getting put upon you or in you, right? And we see how all these things is linked in from, the Neuralink to the different, microchips that's getting pushed out here, man. Right, going to show you, right, the technology for the Motb is here. Some people already got that potato chip in them, man. Right, going to show you the times that we're in. It's just a matter of time until they get ready to start pushing it out here, man. And I believe also I believe it was RFK. Let me pull it up. RFK Jr., which I believe is Robert F. Kennedy's nephew, or that would be his uncle, right? Basically was talking about, having people wear these wearable wristbands, wearable devices that would track them, right? All U.S. citizens wearing these wearable devices that would track them and their, I believe, health vitals and things of that sort. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. No. Right here, yep. All right, it says RFK wants everyone to use wearables. What are these benefits and risks? And it goes into it here, right? Wearables comes in the form of a watch, band, rings, patches, and clothes that can be used for a variety of reasons, including monitoring glucose levels, measuring activity levels, track heart rate, and observe sleeping patterns, right? This also kind of reminded me of that show Paradise on Hulu, where everybody had to wear a certain wristband that would basically do the same things, right? Track their, their vitals, their sleeping patterns. They had to use to buy and sell. It basically was the same thing, in other terms, right? And it's basically going back to what I was saying a little bit earlier, right? Predictive programming, right? They'll show you something before they do it. All right, so ultimately, we see what the Motb is. We see the Motb is, getting that RFID, put into you, but nevertheless, Lord willing, this was edifying to elective Israel. The point has been made. With that being said, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Well, peace, blessings, salutations to the full electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with our sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and a ball, Kwame Sharala, shalom.